You know what I witnessed last Tuesday at the supermarket? A 72-year-old woman standing frozen in the bread aisle, 2 boxes of cereal in her hands, tears streaming down her face. I didn't want to intrude, but as a health educator for 15 years, I recognized that look. That wasn't about cereal. That was about fear. When I gently asked if she was okay, she said something that broke my heart. She looked at me and said, "My doctor told me I need to eat better for my heart, but everyone tells me something different. My daughter says go vegan, my son says keto, the internet says Mediterranean. I don't know what's safe anymore." This is Margaret, and she's not alone. Every single day I hear from seniors who are paralyzed by conflicting advice. They're not looking for miracles. They're not chasing fountain of youth promises. They just want to know one simple thing. What can I safely put on my plate tonight that won't hurt my heart? And here's what makes me frustrated. The answer isn't complicated. The research is actually pretty clear. But somewhere between the scientific studies and your dinner table, the message got twisted into 1,000 different diet trends, each one claiming to be the answer. But what if I told you there's one meal pattern that keeps appearing in research, and it's simpler than you think?
My name is Emma, and I've spent 15 years helping people cut through nutrition noise. Today, I'm going to show you what all that experience has taught me about heart-friendly eating. Not a diet, not a restriction plan, just a simple, research-backed meal pattern that actual seniors can maintain without stress, without confusion, and without breaking the bank. Important, this isn't medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making dietary changes, especially if you take medications. But if you're tired of being confused and just want clear, practical guidance about foods that support cleaner arteries naturally, stay with me, because we're going to build this meal together, ingredient by ingredient. If you're over 60 and want clarity instead of confusion, hit that like button right now. This video is for you. But before we get to the meal itself, let me show you why Margaret was crying in that grocery aisle, because understanding the confusion is the first step to cutting through it. Picture this: 10 seniors sitting around one dinner table. Ask them what they should eat for heart health, and you'll get 10 completely different answers. One swears by going vegan, another says it's all about cutting carbs, a third claims Mediterranean is the only way, and the others, they're so confused they've just given up trying. And here's the crazy part: they're all basing their opinions on something real. One senior says, "My cardiologist told me Mediterranean diet." Another says, "My daughter's a nutritionist and she swears by plant-based." A third chimes in, "Well, my friend lost 30 pounds on keto and his cholesterol dropped." They can't all be right, can they? But they can't all be wrong either. So what happens? Paralysis, fear, and eventually people like Margaret just give up. Let me paint you a picture of what Margaret's grocery trips looked like. She'd walk into the store with good intentions. She'd head to the heart-healthy section, the one with all the labels claiming low-fat, cholesterol-free, heart-smart. She'd pick up a box, read the ingredients, put it back. Pick up another one, read that label, get confused by the numbers, put that back too. 20 minutes later, guess where she'd still be standing? Same spot. Overwhelmed by information, afraid to make the wrong choice. So she'd eventually just grab the same foods she always bought, because at least those felt safe, even if they weren't helping. This is what I call decision fatigue meets heart disease fear. It's exhausting, it's demoralizing, and it's completely unnecessary. Here's what Margaret told me that really hit home. "Emma, I don't want to live forever. I just want to enjoy my meals without being terrified that every bite is hurting me. I want to sit down to dinner and feel peace, not panic." That's it. That's what seniors actually want.
Not perfection, not a miracle cure, not some complicated diet they can't pronounce, just peace at the dinner table, confidence that what they're eating is helping, not hurting.
And here's what breaks my heart. The answer exists, but nobody's telling you about it. After 15 years as a health educator working specifically with seniors, I've seen the same patterns repeat. The same foods show up in study after study. The same meal structures appear in populations with the lowest rates of heart disease. But somehow, by the time this information reaches your dinner table, it's been transformed into extreme restrictions, never eat this, expensive superfoods, you must buy this rare berry, complicated meal plans, follow this 47-step recipe, contradictory rules, fat is bad, no wait, fat is good. No wonder Margaret was crying in the cereal aisle. So here's my promise to you today, and I want you to really hear this. No extreme diets, no expensive supplements you have to order online, no scary warnings about foods you love, just straightforward information about ingredients you can find at any regular grocery store. We're going to build a heart-friendly meal pattern together, and I'm going to show you exactly why it works, what it does in your body, and how to make it fit your actual life. If you're still with me, drop a comment below saying, "I'm ready for clarity," so I know you're serious about this. Because there's one simple meal pattern that appears again and again in cardiovascular research, a pattern that's been studied in populations around the world with remarkably healthy hearts, a pattern that most seniors have never been shown how to actually build for themselves. That's what we're going to explore together in the next chapter. You deserve to understand what heart-friendly eating actually means. You deserve clarity instead of confusion. You deserve to sit down to dinner feeling confident, not afraid. But before we build this meal, we need to understand what's actually happening inside your arteries. Because once you see what your blood vessels need, the food choices become obvious. And what I'm about to show you will change the way you look at every meal. Don't go anywhere. Chapter 2 starts right now, and this is where everything clicks into place. Okay, so here's what's actually happening inside your arteries right now, and I promise this is going to make everything else make sense. Think of your arteries like kitchen pipes. Brand new pipes, water flows perfectly, but over time, things start to build up. Not all at once, slowly, quietly, until one day you have a problem. And here's what most people get wrong about this. Most people think heart problems happen suddenly, like a light switch. One day you're fine, the next day, boom. But that's not how it works. Plaque buildup is more like rust forming inside those pipes. It happens because of three main things happening in your body every single day. First, oxidative stress. Think of it like your cells rusting from the inside. Second, inflammation, your body's alarm system that won't turn off. And third, excess LDL particles, the sticky stuff that clings to artery walls. Now here's where it gets interesting.
Your arteries need three things from the food you eat. Number 1, antioxidants to fight that rust. These come from colorful vegetables and fruits. Number 2, natural plant fibers that help sweep out the sticky LDL particles. Think of fiber like a broom for your blood vessels. Number 3, compounds that calm inflammation. Gentle, natural support from certain oils, fish, and nuts. But here's what shocked me when I learned this. Let me tell you about Robert, 72 years old. Smart guy, really careful about his health. He'd walk through the grocery store buying everything labeled heart healthy, low-fat cookies, fat-free yogurt, cholesterol-free crackers. He thought he was doing everything right, until his doctor looked at his labs and said, "Robert, your numbers aren't improving." Want to know what the problem was? Heart healthy on the package doesn't mean artery friendly in your body. Those low-fat cookies, loaded with sugar and refined flour, that fat-free yogurt, artificial sweeteners and additives, the cholesterol-free crackers made with inflammatory oils. Robert told me, "Emma, I felt betrayed. I was trying so hard and the labels were lying to me." This is why I created what I call the heart-friendly plate formula. Not a diet, not a restriction plan, a repeatable meal structure based on what research actually shows works. It's not about eliminating foods, it's about building meals around 3 key components. 1. The foundation layer, vegetables rich in protective compounds. 2. Healthy fats that compete with cholesterol absorption. 3. Gentle proteins that don't trigger inflammation. And the beautiful part? This isn't expensive or complicated. Every single ingredient I'm going to show you can be found in any regular grocery store. No specialty shops, no online orders, just normal food that your body recognizes and knows how to use. If this is making sense so far, give me a quick like so I know you're following along. So what exactly is this meal made of? In the next chapter, I'm going to build it with you ingredient by ingredient. We'll start with the foundation layer, and I'm going to show you exactly which vegetables researchers have studied most for cardiovascular support. One of them is sitting in your fridge right now, and you probably have no idea how powerful it actually is for your arteries. Don't click away. Chapter 3 starts in 3 seconds, and this is where we start building your heart-friendly plate together. Remember I said there's one vegetable in your fridge that's incredibly powerful for your arteries? It's tomatoes. But here's the part that'll blow your mind. Raw tomatoes are good, but when you cook them, the compound called lycopene becomes up to 5 times more available to your body. That's why tomato sauce, not salad tomatoes, shows up in so much cardiovascular research. And that's just layer 1. The foundation layer, visual building. Let me build this plate with you right now. Imagine you're looking down at an empty dinner plate. Layer 1. Fill half that plate with colorful vegetables. Not just any vegetables. We're talking tomatoes, cooked when possible, dark leafy greens like spinach or kale, berries for dessert or breakfast. Why these specifically? Here's what makes them special. These foods are loaded with antioxidants, those compounds that fight oxidative stress we talked about. They're like armor for your artery walls. Now here's where it gets interesting. We're adding healthy fats to the plate. Layer 2, a small handful of nuts, seeds, or a drizzle of olive oil. And this is the cool part. These fats actually compete with cholesterol absorption in your gut. Think of it like this. Your body can only absorb so much at once. When you eat healthy fats with your meal, they take up space that cholesterol would otherwise fill. Walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, extra virgin olive oil. These aren't just healthy, they're strategic. The third layer, gentle protein. Layer 3, add a palm-sized portion of gentle protein. What do I mean by gentle? Proteins that don't trigger inflammation. The research points to fatty fish like salmon or mackerel twice a week, legumes like beans, lentils, chickpeas, daily if you want, small portions of lean poultry. Notice what I'm not saying. I'm not telling you to never eat red meat. I'm not saying go full vegan. The research shows moderation and balance, not extremes. Here's something that shocked me when I first learned it. How you cook matters as much as what you cook. Heating tomatoes in olive oil, that helps your body absorb the protective compounds. Deep frying those same vegetables, that creates inflammatory compounds that work against you. So here's the simple rule. Gentle cooking methods, roasting, sautéing in olive oil, steaming, baking, these preserve and even enhance the nutrients. Harsh cooking methods, deep frying, charring, burning, these create compounds your arteries don't need. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Emma's simple, heart-friendly dinner. Tomato and olive salad with a drizzle of olive oil, sautéed spinach and white beans with garlic, a small piece of baked salmon with lemon. Total prep time, 20 minutes. Total cost, less than takeout. Total stress, 0. This is what Margaret makes now, 3 times a week. She told me, "Emma, I finally feel like I'm helping my body instead of harming it, and it actually tastes good." If you're thinking, okay, I can actually do this, drop a comment saying, "I'm ready," so I know you're with me. But here's the thing, a meal only works if real seniors can actually live with it long term. Knowing what to eat is step 1. Making it a daily habit, that's where most people fail. In Chapter 4, I'm going to show you Margaret's exact 6-week journey, how she went from confusion to confidence, how her family noticed the changes, and what her doctor said when he saw her numbers. Chapter 4 starts right now. This is where theory becomes reality.
Remember Margaret, the woman I found crying in the grocery store aisle? Let me tell you what happened over the next 6 weeks, because this is where everything I've taught you becomes real. Week 1, Margaret did something simple. She didn't overhaul her entire diet. She didn't throw out her pantry. She just changed breakfast. Instead of her usual cereal and low-fat milk, she made a simple switch. Greek yogurt with berries, a handful of walnuts, and a drizzle of honey. That's it. 1 meal, 1 change. She told me, "Emma, I could actually do this. It didn't feel like a punishment."
By week 2, Margaret was building the heart-friendly plate we talked about for dinner 3 times a week. Not 7 nights, not perfection, just 3 nights a week. Monday, tomato and white bean sauté with spinach. Wednesday, baked salmon with roasted vegetables. Friday, lentil soup with a side salad. And here's what surprised her most. Her family started noticing, not her body, her energy. Her daughter said, "Mom, you seem lighter, like happier." Her grandson asked, "Grandma, can we make that tomato thing together?" She wasn't just eating differently, she was feeling different. By week 3, something shifted. Margaret stopped reading every food label in fear. She started reading them with understanding. She knew what to look for. Whole ingredients she recognized, healthy fats, not inflammatory oils, fiber-rich foods, not processed fillers. But week 4 is when things got really interesting. Margaret went out to eat with friends, and for the first time in years, she didn't panic about the menu. She ordered grilled fish with vegetables. She asked for olive oil instead of butter. She enjoyed her meal without guilt, without fear. She sent me a text that night. "Emma, I felt normal again. Not like I was on some impossible diet, just normal." Week 5 to 6, the doctor visit. Week 6 was Margaret's scheduled checkup with her cardiologist. She walked in nervous. She'd been eating this way consistently, 70% of the time, not perfectly, for 6 weeks. Would it make a difference? Her doctor looked at her blood work and said something Margaret will never forget. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Your LDL cholesterol dropped 18 points, your inflammation markers improved, and your blood pressure is the best it's been in 3 years." Margaret cried, but this time they were tears of relief, of validation, of hope. She'd been doing something simple, something sustainable, and her body was responding. So how did Margaret actually do this? How did she make it a daily habit? 3 simple tools. First, a grocery template. She wrote down exactly which foods to buy each week. No guessing, no overwhelm, just a list. Second,
A 3-day rotation. She rotated between 3 different dinners. When she got bored, she'd swap one out. No complicated meal planning. Third, the 70% rule. She aimed for consistency, not perfection. 3 heart-friendly dinners per week, healthy breakfast most days, and permission to enjoy life without guilt. And here's what I want you to understand. Margaret didn't succeed because she was perfect. She succeeded because she was consistent. She succeeded because she gave herself grace. She succeeded because the meal pattern was actually sustainable. Now it's your turn. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to be perfect. You can start exactly where Margaret started, with 1 meal. Tomorrow morning, try the breakfast. Greek yogurt, berries, nuts. See how you feel. Then maybe add 1 heart-friendly dinner this week, just 1. Because here's the truth nobody talks about. Food is supposed to be freedom, not fear. Meals are supposed to nourish you, not stress you out. And taking care of your heart shouldn't feel like punishment. Margaret is 68 years old. She's cooking meals she enjoys. Her family is eating better because of her example. Her doctor is thrilled. And most importantly, she sits down to dinner feeling peace, not panic. That's what I want for you. Quick reminder, I'm not diagnosing, treating, or curing anything. I'm a health educator sharing nutrition information based on research. If you have existing health conditions, take medications, or have specific medical concerns, please consult your healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes. This information is educational. It's not a substitute for medical advice. Your doctor knows your personal health history and can guide you properly. If this video helped you cut through the confusion and gave you clarity about heart-friendly eating, do me a favor. Hit that like button so I know this was valuable to you. Subscribe to Ageless Vitality if you want more practical nutrition guidance for seniors. No gimmicks, no extremes, just real science translated into real food. And turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video where I'm breaking down the biggest myths about cholesterol that are keeping seniors confused. You deserve to enjoy your meals. You deserve to feel confident about what you're eating. And you deserve to know that small, consistent changes really do make a difference. Margaret proved it, and you can too. I'm Emma, and I'll see you in the next video.